Today I'm going to help you actually program your own table using HTML for your websites. That way you can store any kind of data and make pages with different types of layouts. I'm going to explain what you can do with them, what can be done with them, and what you really shouldn't use them for on this episode of TQA Weekly. Tables in HTML aren't really hard to create. They're comprised of 4 primary tags. Now, tags are the commands in HTML. We just call them that way. You've got your basic required table tag. And remember, the table tag starts with a less than bracket and finishes with a greater than bracket. So the most important is the table tag. This is what tells the browser you're making a table. The second most important is the table row tag, identified as TR. The third most important is the table data tag, which actually implies a data cell, and the not so required whatsoever, but I will get into it anyway, table header tag, otherwise known as TH, which helps identify the title of the table. To make this very easy for the demonstration, I've already pre-programmed everything. So at the top of each section, you have the demo. Just below, we have the HTML code. Now, in order to make a table, we need a set of data variables and a name for these data variables. We're going to be using the number of sleep hours during a day in a table that will ultimately be all about the number of hours you sleep during a week. So I've already pre-programmed this. In order to make a table, you need to start off with the table tag. Then you have to open up the table row. Of course, for this table, we're starting off with 18 cells. The first cell in the first row will be empty. You actually do see why inside the video if you're actually listening. And the rest of them are the days of the week, Monday through Sunday, including the total at the end. The second row includes in the first block number of sleep hours, and Monday through Sunday we have included the variable 8 and added a total of 56. And this is a very simple table that you see here at the top. 2 table rows, 9 columns. And you can get away with doing just this on any web page, but you need to make it a little bit nicer. And this is just using the basic core code of tables. We do have attributes at our disposal. One attribute is the border. By including a border variable of 1, which by the way does show the cell spacing, we can actually define where the data is supposed to be met and actually more easily read the data. This is one of the cooler, very important, optional attributes of the tables. You can apply this to the table row, the table data cell, even the table header. Most programmers use it only in the table as an attribute for the table. Now, another set of attributes is cell spacing and cell padding. There's a difference. Cell spacing is the space between the cells. When you set it to 0, the borders that you got up here, which seem to be double-lined, now become single-lined. A lot nicer, might I add. And cell padding, which we can actually see here, is the space between the outer edge of the data cell and the data itself. In order to achieve that effect, you have cell spacing 0, and in our case, cell padding equals a variable of 3. Now, we also have col span and row span. Row span is the vertical acquiring of multiple data cells into one. Basically, you only have one data cell. You say that I have a row span of 3, and we'll go from top to bottom and grab it as one block. You can also have col span, which I have 2 demonstrations here. The first col span, which is in the table header, which is TH, which we actually gave the name number of hours slept a week. You see, because it has a column span of 9, spreads from one side to the next of the table. For the number of hours of sleep, we have changed Saturday and Sunday's values to 12, getting a total of 64, and we have chosen to use a column span of 5 for Monday through Friday to show that every day during the week we sleep 8 hours. And as we can also see, the 8's in the middle. This is because we're using the alignment attribute, which is align, ALIGN equals, in this case, center, but you also have the left and right variable. You also have another one known as vertical alignment, or V-align, that gives you the option of using top, middle, and bottom. Now, in order to make this table have a fixed width and a fixed height, you apply to the table a width, in our case 700 pixels, but you can choose percentage, which is relative instead of being absolute, and we've chosen a height of 150 pixels, which is the same thing. This is absolute. You can choose a relative number like a percentage. You can use centimeters, inches, and in our case, we've decided to make the days one line height, so 1 EM, so we have applied that to the table row. That only affects the table row and not the whole table. You can also apply colors by using the tag BG color, which is known as background color. You can apply it to either a whole table header, a whole table row by applying BG color equals then the color. You can use proper names or hexadecimal. Hexadecimals are very easy to find on the internet. You just need to type it all in, or if you're using a program like Adobe Photoshop or GIMP, you use the pick color and it will give you the hexadecimal you want. You can also apply it to specific data cells. So TD space BG color in our case equals gray. I wrote in the hex. And this is the overall outcome that you get. The source code for all these tables are available at tqaweekly.com/SE2EP25. Now you may be wondering what I'm talking about when I say we used to do other things with tables, not just store data on a web page for the people to actually see what information we wanted to share. We used to make whole web pages with tables, And not only did we make whole web pages with tables, we used to nest tables within tables, which is, in fact, the thing that I was basically wanting you not to do. Do not nest commands, except for the div tag that I'll get into in 2 weeks, but do not nest commands. You don't need to put a table within a table within a table within a table. It's a bad habit. Makes the code harder to read. It makes it easier to make mistakes, and if you don't close one tag, it can affect everything underneath. This is also true within your div tags. If you want to avoid any problems, make sure you close every single tag. To close, it's / name of the command within the lesser than and greater than brackets. For more information on this episode, for the scripts that I was using in this episode to make those examples, because these are pre-designed examples so that I know what they're going to look like in the future, just go straight to my show notes. The show notes address is tqaweekly.com/SE2EP25. This making it my 75th episode of TQA Weekly. I've been doing it for 79 straight weeks, minus the holiday and New Year's weeks, since I don't actually do shows on those 2 weeks. Those are only December and January. Remember to like, share, subscribe to TQA Weekly if you want more information like the show notes, or how to be on our newsletter, how to get the Android application or use the web application. If you want to get your own TQA Weekly branded gear and apparel, have information like contests, show notes of other episodes, different types of subscription methods, just head over to tqaweekly.com. Remember to stay safe and online. Have a great day.